Babbel versus Rosetta Stone. At the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one is going to make you fluent in the language that you want to learn. In addition, I'm going to show you exactly what kind of level you can expect to reach if you finish Babbel or Rosetta Stone. I'm going to use my experience of learning multiple languages to pretty high levels like English and Japanese to compare Babbel and Rosetta Stone. Now, we're going to talk about different things, specifically vocabulary, speaking, grammar, the cost of the different plans, and I'm going to include all the relevant links in the description box down below. And first, I want to talk about how Babbel works. So Babbel is going to be 10 to 15-minute lessons. It's much shorter than Rosetta Stone's 1-hour lessons. And really, Babbel is a blended approach where you have multiple drills. There's a wide variety of drills, and they keep it very short. The good thing about Babbel is that compared with Rosetta Stone, because of the variety and the rhythm of the drills, they keep it interesting. And Rosetta Stone is going to be a lot more repetitive in my opinion. So an example lesson in Babbel would be listen to phrases and then repeat, or you have vocabulary flashcards, fill in the blanks of a conversation, or you can have grammar exercises. Now, I want to talk about my personal experience with Babbel, and overall, my experience is pretty positive. And really, one of the main differences between Babbel and Rosetta Stone is that Babbel is going to present you with a good amount of grammar. Now, there's not too much of it, but also there's not too little of it. And what's more is that in Babbel, the grammar is going to be woven into the lessons in a very subtle way. So they're not going to present you with like walls of texts or anything like that. Now, I want to talk about the use of translation in both apps. So Babbel is going to help you with English translations when you're trying to learn a language. And in comparison, Rosetta Stone is going to be 100% immersion, meaning that they're not going to use the English language to help you understand. And this is because they're going to use mostly visual cues like images or sounds. And I think the idea here behind Rosetta Stone's 100% immersion policy is that they want to avoid people trying to think in English and then translating to the other language. I think this idea is pretty widespread, and this is definitely misguided. Using English to learn another language is okay. Even if you don't use English, even if you just use images to learn a language, your mind is automatically going to associate English words with other words in the language that you're trying to learn. So you cannot prevent your brain from thinking in English just by doing 100% immersion. Just to reassure you, there are definitely some benefits to doing 100% immersion, but Babbel is really going to provide you some hints in English and really limit the use of English in general while still giving you some translation. Now, let me talk about Babbel live classes. So Babbel actually offers live classes. These classes have a maximum of 6 students. It's going to be about 1 hour in length. Now, just to be clear, Babbel Live is not included in the standard subscription plan, and I'm going to talk about costs in a moment. If you want to get Babbel Live, this is like an additional fee, something else that you have to pay. Live classes are going to be classes about different topics, and there are many time slots available. And this is going to be super affordable, especially for power users. If you're doing multiple classes every week and you pay for a long period of time, it's really cheap. It's a great way to actually get speaking and speak with a teacher. All right, now let me talk about what kind of level you can expect to reach if you actually finish a Babbel program. Now, Babbel actually says on one of their pages that you can expect to reach a C1 level at the end. But on another page that I found, in the support page, they actually say that for the biggest courses, Spanish, French, etc., you can actually expect to learn about the 3,000 most common words in that language. So there's definitely a misalignment here. C1 is definitely more than 3,000 words. I think it's more than 6,000 as a matter of fact, if you want to get a C1 level. But then Babbel says, well, this is, 3,000 words. So if you finish a Babbel program with 3,000 words, you can expect to actually reach about the B1 level, which is a pretty good intermediate level. Before we move on to Rosetta Stone, I want to talk about the pricing of Babbel and Rosetta Stone and compare them. Babbel and Rosetta Stone very often have pretty significant discounts, and what I like to do is actually to track the discounts, and I'm going to put some links in the description of this video with the best discounts that I could find. So check out the description box if you want to find out if there currently is a discount for Babbel or Rosetta Stone. Now, Babbel actually has 5 different plans ranging from about $7 to $14 a month. And they also have a lifetime plan, which is going to be about $300, and you're going to have access to all languages. Rosetta Stone is going to be slightly more expensive, where it's going to be approximately $10 to about $16 a month, depending on the plan. And you're only getting access to one language, but they also have a lifetime plan where it's going to be $200 and you're going to have access to all of the languages, the 25 languages on the Rosetta Stone website. Babbel and Rosetta Stone, the pricing is pretty similar. It's going to be more affordable than most language learning apps. I would say that Babbel is slightly more affordable. And in either case, like with Babbel, you get I think it's a money back guarantee for a certain period. It's like 2 weeks or 20 days. And with Rosetta Stone, you actually get a free trial. So there's no risk. You can actually try them out and get reimbursed if you don't like Babbel or Rosetta Stone. So we're done with the cost comparison and we're done with Babbel. Now I want to talk about Rosetta Stone. I'm going to talk first about how Rosetta Stone works. And so Rosetta Stone is broken down into lessons, and each lesson is going to be about 1 hour. And each lesson has one core sort of module, one core lesson that lasts 30 minutes. And then you're going to have additional drills, about 3 to 15 drills. And to complete all of these drills, it's going to be another 30 minutes. And so all of the lessons and all of the drills are based almost 100% on images and audio. And so most of your time is going to be spent, repeating words and repeating phrases and matching them up with images. So as I said earlier, you're not going to use English translations at all in Rosetta Stone. And the idea here is to get you immersed in the language, 100% immersion. This is a bit of a misconception. Just because you actually learn the language in the language, it's not going to prevent your brain from associating some of the words of the language to English words. All right, let me give you some of my thoughts on Rosetta Stone. So first of all, one of the main selling points of Rosetta Stone is the voice recognition software. And I just think that it's not really great. As a matter of fact, I tried in the Spanish course pronouncing things in a way that was totally wrong. And it said that I was right. It said, okay, you pronounce it right. One good thing about Rosetta Stone is that there's sort of an emphasis on speaking, with that, voice recognition software. So I think it's good, even though the voice recognition is not great. But the thing is, you're just repeating words and phrases sort of out of context. So it's not really like embedded in the lesson. I've talked about rocket languages in the past. They also get you speaking, but it's like with entire dialogues, you take part in rehearsed dialogues. There's a lot more context. It's a lot easier to remember and a lot more fun. Now, I will say that Rosetta Stone is actually great for visual learners. You're going to get a lot of images, unlike with Babbel. With Rosetta Stone, you get access to live lessons, and that is included in the subscription fee. Now, the thing is, it's not really lessons like Babbel, where, with Babbel, you get it's a maximum of 6 students, usually, 3 to 6 students, and you can participate in the lesson. With Rosetta Stone, it's going to be more like a lecture. You cannot interact in the lesson. You can only type in the chat. And so you don't really interact with the teacher except in the chat. All right, now, what level can you expect to reach if you finish Rosetta Stone? Now, I tried looking for information here, but it's hard to know how many words you will actually know at the end of the program. The most helpful information I could find was, from people who actually completed all the levels in Rosetta Stone. And I think most of them actually say that they did not reach a fluent level. They were able to reach a good sort of beginner level, but it's not going to take you very far. Keep in mind that Rosetta Stone is not going to present you with any grammar or very, very little. There's going to be a huge gap in your knowledge of the grammar of the language that you're learning. All right, so now what is my verdict? which app is actually best if you want to get fluent. Overall, I'm going to say that Babbel is a more solid choice. And there are many reasons. As I've said, there's more variety in Babbel, which makes it much more interesting. The lessons are also shorter, 10 to 15 minutes as opposed to 1 hour. There's more emphasis on grammar, but there's just enough grammar so you're not going to be bored and you're going to learn a lot. Babbel actually uses translations, unlike Rosetta Stone, and this is very, very helpful. And at the end of the day, the pricing is pretty similar, but Babbel is going to be a little more affordable. And as I said earlier, I actually track discounts for Babbel and Rosetta Stone. I'm going to include all the links I find in the description box, so check out the description. And also, if you're interested, I actually made a video comparing the top language learning apps. You can click on this video if you want to watch it, and if not, I'll see you in the next one.